whole neighborhood right now is doing fall cleanup. So most of this video will be via a voiceover. All right. So before I get started with my actual project, I just wanted to show you guys another pair of boots from High C. All right, so High C hit me up again and asked that I display their boots throughout my video. Oh, this is nice. They gave me a smartphone protector. This is nice. All right. These are kind of similar to the boots that I got last month or 2 months ago, with the exception of the soles. The soles, with the exception of the soles. So the soles are slightly different. I don't know. These aren't as thick as the soles of the rain boots that I wore last month. That's the first thing, top of my head, I can think of. And when you fold the lip, okay, it's not two-toned as the last pair. All right, so this is a size 10 US. The ones I had last month were size 12. All right, so currently I'm wearing a pair of their steel toe boots. I'll leave the link for this pair in the description below. Hey garden friends, I had to jump on the voiceover. It was getting way too loud in the neighborhood. So these right here are the Aqua X men's rain boots. All right, High C sent me them a couple weeks ago to try out, and this is my first time trying them on. They're very snug. These actually are 2 sizes smaller than the ones I had last, which were size 12s. I guess the last pair, they ran out of size 11s, so I went up a pair to 12. These are right here are 10s. So again, it's the same promo. You get a 15% discount if you use the initials AJ when you purchase. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the video. All right, guys, so here's the deal with the Dahlias. I just showed you guys the state of these Dahlias, and they're not too pretty. So once the frost hits them, once about two or three frosts hit them, then they start to wilt, deteriorate. The foliage dies back. Some of the stems even start to deteriorate quick as well. It provides an opportunity for insects to come in and accelerate the decomposition and start feeding on the decaying material. All right,
So that's what we have here. All the big ones like the Kevin Floodlight. What's this one over here? Rebecca's World. Some of the Peony Fascination, I'll go ahead and save. But a lot of the single HS series, I'll just go ahead and toss these because they're in pretty bad shape. They have super duper mildew. Okay, I'll show you guys. They are really suffering from mildew, and I don't want to carry that on to the next season. Like I said, the bigger ones like the Kelvin Floodlight still have some decent looking leaves with minimum insect damage and frost damage. So I'll go ahead and save those. All right. All right, so I'm cleaning out these containers to use to store the dahlias for now. Oh yeah, and by the way, check out these boots. They are waterproof, right? There we go. There we go. There we go. Fully waterproof, guys. Fully waterproof. Okay. All right, so as I pull each dahlia, I'll throw them in the basket. All right, so I made a few labels for the Arabian Nights. I'll throw a picture up on the screen. I like to keep those. The Kelvin Floodlights, definitely like to keep those. Rebecca's World, those are pretty. And Peony Fascination, that's another one. All right, so here's our Kelvin Floodlight. I've got a tag right here. So I'm gonna cut it down to about 6 inches. Okay. All right, so it's pushing 3:30 and we got another hour of daylight. So, yep, it's getting kind of dark, guys, but we'll keep pushing forward. All right. So let me get a little shovel and let's dig out. Actually, let me get a pitchfork and let's dig out this Kelvin Floodlight. All right. Look at that, guys. I had snails in here. I mean, just about everything. So I go about a good 7 to 8 inches from the crown, okay, from the crown, all right, of the stem of the tuber, and kind of dig in at an angle, trying not to damage any of the tubers. All right. So I don't know what I'll find. I don't know if it'll be rotted or what the case may be. So this is a surprise for you as it is for me. See, I was really expecting a lot of tubers for this Dahlia. But look at this. That's the mother tuber. That's where it started. And this is all I got. So it clearly experienced a lot of rot during the season. Let's see if there are any tubers hanging around in here. Nothing I can find. So this we're gonna toss. All right, so next to it I've got Otto's Thrill. I'll go ahead and write up a label for that and we'll see what we get. All right, so here's our Otto's Thrill. I'm gonna dig in just like we did with the Kelvin floodlight at an angle and finagle it and see what we got. All right, so this also has some damage. You guys see that hole? Had borers right here, but it still has some relatively healthy tubers on this mass. So we'll go ahead and save this. I'll cut out that part with the borer damage. So we definitely don't want to carry any insects with this tuber as it's overwintering. All right, so here's our Otto's Thrill tagged. All right, so right adjacent to that, Otto's Thrill. Whoa, I already see tubers sticking out the ground. I guess when I disturbed the Otto's Thrill. Look at all the roots. All right. So this one next to it is another Otto's Thrill. Perfect. Oh boy. Yeah, it's relatively exposed. All right, so this looks to be a little damaged as well. This is unfortunate, this tuber right here. So we're just gonna cut it off. All right, so we don't want to carry that during the overwintering process. This one right here is rotted. All right. So we'll take that off. It's still a viable clump because it has some intact tubers attached to the mass. So we'll go ahead and store this. Arabian Nights. Let's see how that looks. Not too promising after what I've seen. That looks pretty sad. Pretty sad. We're gonna toss that. Not sure what this one is. Watch it look good. Look at that. We can save that. Not sure what the hell it is. Not sure what that is. All right, guys, at this stage, I am just so ready to plant these garlic. So all of these leaves and organic matter will be fantastic food to feed the garlic. So we're gonna leave a lot of this in here and just top dress it with some raised bed mix. All right, guys. So far, this has been 50-50. So I see a few more dahlias that I may go ahead and attempt to save. All right, consider them to look good top-wise, but we never know what's going on down below, do we? All right, so let's mess with some of these Rebecca's World in the far corner. Look at that nasty thing. That's trash. That's trash. That was Petra's wedding. And let's look at this Rebecca's World right here, see what we get. I think voles have somehow made their way underneath these raised beds because I see a lot of bite marks. So, I don't know. We're just gonna have to start putting dahlias in containers. This was a surprise. This is, so that large tuber, I don't know what it was. I think it might have been a Bishop of Dover. So we're gonna go ahead and label it Bishop of Dover because we don't know what it is. It might be a Bishop of Dover. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's get this Rebecca's World out of here. And we just hope. We're just hoping that we can save Rebecca's World because I mean this is pretty. Oh, that might be damaged too. That's trash. We're gonna trash that. Man, I'm thinking if my dahlias, look at this. So the dahlias that I thought were doing good ended up not doing too good. And then the ones that I was ready to toss got tubers that are intact. That's crazy. Don't underestimate top growth of a dahlia. This is damaged, but it still has a number of well intact tubers. So here's a successful one. Look at the taproot on this one. Look how long that is. That is at least a foot or 18 inches maybe. All right, so I'm gonna clean this one up. This right here needs to come off. Actually, I can just break it off. This one here is an HS date or something like that. I can tell by the foliage. So that's what we'll go ahead and label it as. This one might be Petra's Wedding. Has a strong stalk and the tubers are well intact. See that? So we'll go ahead and save Petra's Wedding. I think one right here is damaged, so I'll go ahead and remove that. Actually, several of these are damaged. So we don't want to keep anything that's damaged, because that'll clearly rot during the winter season as we're storing these. All right, Petra's Wedding. Something's biting me over here. What the hell is it? All right, so we'll store Petra's Wedding. Not too fascinated about this. All right, garden friends, it's getting kind of dark. I'll go ahead and wrap up the rest of this video here without recording, but a few lessons here today. Placement of dahlias, and also climate that your dahlias will be growing in. So this year, the weather has been very unpredictable. You know, we had a drought earlier in the season, late spring actually. And then it was followed by several inconsistent downpours. All right, which did help some crops, but for the most, it produced an environment that harbored a lot of predatory insects and diseases on foliage and stuff like that. And so a lot of these plants were not able to perform at their maximum. Okay, as far as these dahlias are concerned, I don't think having them up against this fence provided enough airflow. As you can see, the garden behind me is pretty thick with vegetation, and in addition to that, I believe that voles have infiltrated the bottom of this raised bed. So despite having the bottom lined with chicken wire, I still think voles came up through, perhaps in some gaps on the sides or however they do it. And as you can see, as you saw, as I shared with you guys, some of these tubers were chewed in. They were chewed into. So that tells me that, you know, there were vermin damage. So then as these dahlias were stressed due to the environment, the climate, insect pressure, foliage diseases and such, that left an opening, okay? They were looked at as being vulnerable to insects. So that's why you also saw a lot of vole damage. So those were some of my observations for growing these dahlias in this particular location this past season. And I think from now on, I will have to reinforce the chicken wire, all right, and change the placement of these dahlias. I'll still have to end up digging up my dahlias, unfortunately, because you guys saw an experiment that I performed last season where I left them in the beds and they didn't do too well. A few of them did survive and they're still out there now, but for the most, it was rather unsuccessful. So those are some of the lessons. Now I will go ahead and finish up planting this bed with all of the garlic. So before I go, I guess I can share with you guys the types of garlic that I have. All right. These are all hardneck varieties, and I got them from Keen Garlic. I got, it's a gourmet garlic sampler pack. And like I said, they're all hardneck, they're organic or natural, certified organic. The types are Vietnamese Red. I'll throw a picture up on the screen. Georgia Crystal, German Extra Hardy, and Music. So Vietnamese Red, Georgian Crystal, German Extra Hardy, and Music. All right, so it's gonna be too dark to film the rest of the video, so I guess I mean, you guys know it's planted garlic. I mean, after I do it, the bed will be completely covered. You won't be able to tell. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here, and I'm gonna do it until I can't see anymore. See you guys on the next one. AJ's Green Thumb.